Using the rule of thirds for pictures is one thing, but let's talk about how to make it work in video with moving subjects. Hey everyone, Camber here, back with you, and today we're talking about how to use the rule of thirds in filmmaking. And if you're new here, this channel is all about teaching you how to use your camera to make good videos, so consider subscribing. Now, when taking a photo, it's pretty easy to frame your shot up perfectly so that you can line up everything just how you like it using the rule of thirds, because you'll typically have plenty of time. And if you don't know what I mean by the rule of thirds, check out this other video I made here explaining what the rule of thirds is and how using it can instantly improve the composition of your shots. But when taking a photo, things are typically going to be static, so you can frame the shot just how you like. However, with video, it's pretty rare that you see a static shot with no movement in the frame, unless it's perhaps an establishing shot, or like here where these credits are rolling and it's showing you different images. But what you're much more likely to see is a static shot with subjects moving throughout the frame, or a static subject with the camera creating movement throughout the frame. Or you may see a combination of both the subject moving as well as the camera. And what you'll start to notice when using the rule of thirds with videos is that with the more static shots, subjects will tend to line up better with the various thirds. However, when there's a lot of movement involved, then they'll still be near those thirds, but more so in the general area rather than right in line with them. And you'll see the rule of thirds being used in virtually every genre because it's one of the basic framing tools to improve your shots. So let's take a look at some scenes from films in various genres just to see how the rule of thirds is used when there's movement involved. Action. As we enter the scene, the horizon is on the top third as the camera moves around the subject centered in the frame. Then as the subject passes, he's in the left third, back to centered, then back to the top left third as he jumps. Horizon on the top third, head top right, then bottom right to right third. As we continue, the faces are in the thirds. Then top left to top right as we punch in closer, and back to faces in the thirds.
Right? Now?
Yes, right.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm... Oh, it's left. Turn left. Sorry, I had the screen lock on.
And you can start to see here how the faces are more in the general area of the thirds. Then focus is moved to the lower thirds before moving back to centered. Sci-fi. As we enter this scene, Luke gets out and the horizon is moved to the bottom third with Luke in the bottom left. Then face to the top left, smoke in the top left, and then horizon in the top third. And then moving to put the burning skeletons in the bottom right. Then horizon on the bottom third with face in the top left. Bottom right again, top left, and horizon back on the bottom third with focus towards the left third. Adventure. Here we have the subject in the top left, then on the top right, then as he moves back to the top left and bottom right, left third and now top right, then top left moving to bottom right, top left, moving to center, and ending top left. Comedy. As we enter this scene, we can see all the faces being placed on or near the top right and left thirds with relatively static subjects.
You should get out of the way, Granddaddy. You'll get hurt and all.
He ain't joking, you should go.
Then the next few shots are mostly centered.
Excuse me.
And then points of interest are placed back in the third, starting with his face. Back to centered. Then top left to bottom right. Centered again. Then both top thirds.
You know what that means.
Top right.
And let me teach you a lesson.
Bottom right. and back to top right. Romance. Here we start with the horizon on the top third, and then move to put it in the bottom third with the subject centered. Characters in the left third,
Noah? Who's Martha?
then a conversation with the face in the top right third,
She's a friend that I look after from time
as
to
well
time.
as the top left.
Now you're looking after her well?
I think so.
Moving subject into the top right with the horizon put on the bottom third. Drama. Starting with the subject centered and the horizon on the top third, then the top right and bottom left thirds, horizon on top, subject in the left third with the horizon now on the bottom third. Then moving the sheet in the right third to reveal the coming danger. Back to the top right, centered, back to our subject, then subject in the left third and horizon on the bottom, with a slow move to put the horizon on the top. Same from another angle, top left, top right, then left third with focus on the top, then on the bottom. Then subject walking in the left third,
Je suis Perrier-Lapadite.
ending with both characters in the left and right thirds with focus on the top of each of those thirds.
Que puis-je faire pour vous?
J'espérais que vous m'inviteriez à entrer chez vous.
So you can see from these examples that there's a tendency to place points of interest in the various thirds of the frame in order to give the shot a more interesting composition. Now we did see quite a few shots where the subject was centered in the frame, and it is good to have a mix of both types of shots in order to give variety to your scenes. Granted, you could easily start to overanalyze the framing of any scene and try to make it match a certain concept or idea after the fact, but the rule of thirds is a pretty easy one to see because it's a common practice. But I just want to show you some practical examples of how the rule of thirds is used in films when there's movement involved. And you'll probably start to notice it a lot more now when you watch movies and shows, but just remember that things don't always fall exactly in those various thirds, but they do tend to fall in the general area. So when you start working on your next project, you can keep these framing tools in mind in order to improve your shots. And please help me out if you can by leaving a comment and a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you soon.